What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Real quick, before we start, the 2DS XL competition is coming to an end, just about. We're coming up on 50,000 subscribers, and that's where we will end it. So if you are not already, make sure you subscribe. Check the link in the description so you can get entered to win a 2DS XL, a brand new one. Let's get started today, guys. Now, an interesting project kind of came to light. It's an interesting idea with the Nintendo Switch, specifically the Nintendo Switch dock. So what if we took a projector and put it in the Nintendo Switch dock along with a battery and an input for other devices? Well, that's something that a company called Yes Ojo will be attempting to do. They are based out of Shenzhen, China, and they're looking to enter crowdfunding sometime soon to make this a reality. So the idea here is the dock will be a projector, technically, with that built in, along with a slot for the Switch to slide into about halfway. This looks to be a pretty small device. Doesn't look like it's going to be very large. On the side, it will have essentially a spot for the light to come out, and it will shine on your wall or wherever you are. I don't know where you would be, other than, I guess, inside against a wall. Maybe you're at a convention center or something, and you're waiting for your turn to Smash Bros. Or something, and you go, well, let me pop this up over here and play some Zelda or something. You can do that, as long as you have a spot to project it to. They say it's 30 to 120 inches is compatible. So I guess depending on how far you are away from the wall is how big the image will be, but somewhere in that range is acceptable in their eyes. Now, they put out a lot of information around this, which you're going to see a slide in front of you now. It talks about things like stereo speakers that do come out of that projector, so you would sit relatively close to the projector, not like right on it, but you'd be at least close to it and then looking at the image in front of you on the wall. 200 lumens, that's pretty good. That's the point where you could use it outdoors if you want, like how you do, like, I guess if you have like a side of a building or something. Again, maybe I've seen people do projectors at like midnight releases, for example. Yeah, this would work for that. It also apparently has a 20,000 milliamp hour battery inside, which I'm trying to figure this out. I assume the entire thing can run off of the battery, including your Switch in this case. However, the Switch activates its video out through like the power plug. So this is interesting. I would be very curious to see how this works. I assume you still have to be plugged in for that, but it does say it works to power your Switch and even your mobile devices. So I assume you can plug in like your cell phone to charge off of that battery. Otherwise, it says it gives you 4 hours of time with that battery through apparently the Switch and the projector. And if you're not using your Switch at the time, it says it also has HDMI in, so you could plug your laptop in, or I guess if you have a phone that has HDMI out through like a special cable and everything, you can do that as well, which is pretty interesting overall. I like the idea of trying to build something into the dock rather than try to make the dock just smaller. Really give it more, I guess, functionality overall, rather than just being a dock. Make it a projector, why not? Now, it is still in a concept stage. However, they did share actual video of it working. At least we believe it's working. They didn't show the front where the light was coming out, so we can only take their word for it at this time. I mean, they're not even in the crowdfunding portion yet. They're at least they're showing up with what appears to be a working prototype, so I'll give them that. And it does show it apparently projecting onto a wall in front of them while they play Zelda. So again, a prototype, appears to work. It is video on their end, so hopefully this thing works out and it does come to market. According to them, they want to have 100,000 units sold the year after their Kickstarter or their Indiegogo, as they're saying they're going to go Indiegogo, happens. Now, as far as I can tell, this company hasn't done much of anything else, so this appears to be their first real shot at a large, in their words, a mainstream item that they're going to try to mass market after the crowdsourcing completes. So be tentative when it goes up. Don't just throw money in, check things out, and maybe they come to the table with more information and actual footage of the other side of it actually playing. Just be careful with some of these crowdfunding campaigns that are happening. Cool, though. I like the idea here, and I hope people start to figure out other things they can do and incorporate into the Switch dock. Next up, let's talk about Sonic Mania. It came out yesterday to really great reviews overall. For the most part, people seem to like it. I liked it. I've been playing it, and it's a lot of fun. If you enjoy the old school Sonic games, and you're kind of on the fence, I would look into it. It's 20 bucks. I think it's well worth it. You can get it on any of the systems other than PC, which is coming out later on this month. You can get it on the Switch, PS4, Xbox One. Seems to play, for the most part, the same across all of them. Yeah, IGN gave it an 87, and on Metacritic right now, it's at about an 86, with most users really liking the game, and for the most part, critics liking the game as well. So this is good overall for Sonic and Sega. What's interesting here, though, is Sega called in some talented fans who had been working on other kind of Sonic fan projects to help with this game. So I've been thinking about this for a little while now. Does this mean that maybe some companies should consider asking fans who are designing really good looking games to come in and maybe help with the development of some of their games? I mean, Sega called in all types of people who worked on different fan projects, people like T. Lopes, who was actually a YouTuber who worked on music tracks for the Sonic franchise, Jared Castle, Tom Fry, who worked on a fan HD remake of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. They worked on level design, visuals, things like that. And it's interesting because Sega seemed to understand that, well, fans could probably build this game better than we can right now. We're busy with Sonic Forces. And if they come in and they develop a good 2D Sonic game, which they have apparently, then maybe we can look forward and do other things with that. I hope companies really look at this because this could be interesting going forward. I do think that fans generally can make some pretty cool games if they're given the chance because they love the games that they're working on, right? It's not like as much of a job to them as it is for other people. They go in, they love either the franchise, in this case they love Sonic, so they made sure Sonic Mania was Sonic. They didn't overthink it like I feel like Sega did with something like Sonic 4, for example, where they seem to put a little too much thought into it. Instead of just make it like just normal Sonic, they got this weird 2D, 3D element. They made it look a little odd. It felt weird. This is Sonic to its core, and I love it. I'm glad they called in fans to help make this happen. The level design is great. It starts so normal, like something you're so familiar with, and then after maybe halfway through, it starts to really change, and then by the time you're done Act 2, you kind of look back and say, that level was just completely different from what I'm used to. Great. I like it a lot. Again, look into it if you're kind of on the fence. It's worth it if you like the old school 2D Sonic, and I really hope other companies start to look for fans to help them with some of these game designs because, well, honestly, they did a better job making Sonic than Sega has in quite a while. Oh, and real quick, if you did pick up Sonic Mania on the Nintendo Switch, you may have noticed there's some interesting issues going on. Specifically, the capture button, the home button, those seem to be heavily delayed. Like, you'll hit the button, and then like 4 or 5 seconds later, the action will happen whether you're going back to the home menu or you take a screenshot. It's very odd. People have noticed this bug, including Sega. They're looking into it, and they're expecting to have it patched soon, in their words, or hopefully it's not like way down the road, because while it's not game breaking, it's kind of weird and it's kind of jarring when you're playing a game that's as responsive as Sonic and then you want to put it down for a minute, you hit home button, but everything's still going. It's a little weird. Small bug, but it does sound like they're getting it worked out. When? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Speaking of broken messes or broken games, Troll and I released on the Switch. Now, if you have no idea what this game is and you're looking at it on the Switch, I'm just going to give you a little piece of advice. Don't buy it. It has a lot of issues. It's not a good game overall. Back when it came out on the PS4 and the Xbox One and everything, it was getting bad reviews across the board there as well. So it's not like it's just the Switch version is bad. It's just the game is bad. Terribly optimized overall. Even with the PS4 and the Xbox One, didn't run very well. Looks kind of like, I guess you would say, an HD original Xbox game. And even places like Destructoid, for example, gave it a 1 and called it a complete failure when it came out on the PS4. And it runs really poorly on the Switch. And it even has game-breaking bugs, crashes all the time. I just want to let you guys know this ahead of time because it is $30. And it would be kind of a shame to throw that money away on a game like Troll and I when a game like Sonic Mania, it's $20. Neo Geo games are like $8 or $9. What I'm trying to say is there are better things to spend your money on right now on the eShop than Troll and I. And our last bit of news, let's talk about AMD's Vega cards. They've come out. Now we have benchmarks for pretty much all of them, the 56 and the 64. And while the 56 seems to be a good competitor to 1070 despite consuming more power, the 64, which was something that a lot of people were hoping was going to be extremely competitive with the 1080 Ti and possibly overtake it, appears to be falling short of that mark, and a lot of benchmarks place the 64 a good bit behind the 1080 Ti. And the real problem here is NVIDIA is already getting ready to unleash their next wave of cards. It's basically the 20 series is what everyone's saying. And it's going to be interesting when that comes out because if the 64 is already not able to overtake the 1080 Ti, what chance does it have against NVIDIA's next cards that are coming up? Not great. Now, of course, AMD has already been talking about, or at least fans have already been talking about the next line above Vega, which is Navi. But, I mean, Vega just came out, and there were tons of high praise about these cards coming out, saying it was going to restart the GPU war, it was going to hopefully overtake the 1080 Ti, and it hasn't. And that's a shame because not only does it not overtake the 1080 Ti, it consumes more power while performing worse in games. So that is a problem. Now, there are things you do with your computers other than games using video cards, whether it's workstation or video rendering or all kinds of stuff that can use your video card to help it. But in this case, they did kind of market it as a gaming card, and it's not able to stand up to the 1080 Ti, which has been out for a little while. Even the regular 1080 seems to beat out the 64 in most cases. So AMD hyped this card up like crazy along with fans, and it looks like it just hasn't delivered. I guess now it's like, well, maybe next generation with Navi, maybe they'll catch up. It's just a little disappointing to me, as I really wanted AMD to really seriously put a lot of pressure on NVIDIA to either lower prices on some of their cards or possibly really push on to the next generation and make cards better as we go along, because, well, I mean, the next generation systems are going to need good video cards that consume less power, and it looks like Vega is going in the wrong direction right now. That's it for Newswave today. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, all of that good stuff. Let me think about any of the stuff we talked about today, whether it is the Nintendo Switch Projector dock. It's very interesting, right? Apparently it's going to be crowdsourced on Indiegogo, according to them, but they don't have much of a track record, and really it still seems to be in the concept stages, although they have shown apparently a working prototype. We'll see when this goes forward, and I'll let you guys know if they ever reach out to me and want to, I guess, let me look at one of their projectors. That'd be kind of neat. Also, let me think about Sonic Mania. Are you a fan, and are you having a good time with it? And finally, let me know what you think about the Vega 64 kind of underperforming from expectations. I think a lot of people were hoping it would either stand up to the 1080 Ti or overtake it. Has not appeared to do either, but I guess that's the way it goes sometimes. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.